Look, I'll be honest, I like the Five Guys. They seem nice. Name one time that's ever stopped us.
Hey, that looks nice, doesn't it? Something's coming soon. Something you've asked for pretty much a year. This is more than what you might be imagining. This is just the beginning, and if you want to stay up to date, the link is in the description.
Okay, so today we are making the Five Guys Burger. It is called Five Guys Burger and Fries, all right? The fries we could do another time, all right? I'm saving that for something special, all right? I think the main question you can ask is, at this point, is there really a difference between every burger at every place? If you think the answer is that there's no difference,
you're out of your mind.
They want their own sort of like flavor branding. You take a bite, you know it's a McDonald's burger. You take a bite, you know it's a Five Guys burger, but is one better than the other? That's the magical argument that everybody has. The element about Five Guys is that everything's cooked relatively fresh. I think that presents a little bit more of a challenge, but this is better, so
We're gonna make it better.
And with all that being said, let's make this, shall we?
Yes! Wow, there are a lot of people here. I hate these kinds of strip malls. I avoid them at all costs, I really do. I'll be back. We got the bag. Honestly, I'm having a great day. I hope you guys are too. Okay, 3-point test. I love the interior, honestly, so we're just gonna judge the interior because they're always in strip malls. I'm gonna give it an 8 out of 10. Very nice. Service, since we're back in the car, service is 10 out of 10. They were very nice and quick. Nothing negative to say about that. Menu, 8 out of 10 for being classic. All good ratings. Now let's begin. We got the bag. I like this design. This is good.
A bag.
That's all it needs to be. Somehow I don't smell the burger. Wow, this has weight to it. Woo! God damn. $24 for 2 burgers and no fries, no drink. I'm not the type of person that's like, oh, let me save $5. I get it. I spend a lot of money on food, but that's a lot. I will say that this burger weighs 400 grams. That's a
Big burger.
Look at that. I'm excited about this one. Bacon's good, toppings are there. What I don't like, they put the mayo on the top and then on the bottom they put the other stuff. Like, why not put them both? Even it out. Mayo, ketchup, mustard, boom. Mayo, ketchup, mustard, boom. Did you want it in every bite?
I don't get it.
Still, big fans so far. Cross section, very nice. I only have good things to say about this place. The buns are way too soft though. They kind of like just fall apart, and when they soak with liquid, they're just
Gooshy.
Smells nice. God damn it. You're so close. Fatal error is that none of this is seasoned. There is no salt in this. No matter how fresh all this stuff is, there's almost no flavor in this burger whatsoever, and I'm so disappointed because I actually like Five Guys. This isn't a full demarking, but this ain't gonna help you in the end.
A burger isn't just meat, buns, patty. There's more to it than that. That's why each burger from every joint is different. First off, these buns are sweeter and eggier than most. Eggy, not a good word, but descriptive. Now, here we're working off my cookbook all-purpose bun dough with some minor changes. Link in the description for that, by the way. That's a plug. So start with 3/4 of a cup or 185 grams of whole milk at 90 degrees Fahrenheit. Whisk in 2.5 teaspoons or 10 grams of instant yeast till dissolved. Separately, in the bowl of a stand mixer, add 3 cups plus 2 tablespoons or 469 grams of all-purpose flour, 3.5 tablespoons or 50 grams of granulated sugar, and 1.5 teaspoons or 5 grams of fine sea salt. Mix the dry ingredients to combine, then to your milk. Add 1 egg yolk and 2 whole eggs. Whisk together till homogeneous, then pop on a dough hook or spiral attachment, begin mixing on medium-low, and add your liquid. Let that mix and knead for 2 to 3 minutes, or until you start to get a rough dough. Then add in 3 tablespoons or 42 grams of unsalted, softened butter. Mix another 2 to 3 minutes, or until you get a smooth and extensible dough. Roll that bad boy into a rough ball, pop into a grease bowl, cover with plastic wrap, and rise for 1.5 hours at room temperature or till doubled. Look at the little punch it down. Divide into 10 even pieces, weighing 80 to 90 grams each. Roll each of those into balls and place them on a baking sheet lined with parchment. You're likely going to need 2 baking sheets. Then once you have all your balls, lightly tent with greased plastic wrap and let that proof at room temperature for 30 to 45 minutes or until your balls nearly double. Now you've all seen this before. Brush your buns with egg wash consisting of 1 egg. Whisk together with a splash of water till smooth. Hit it with some raw untoasted sesame seeds and pop in a 375-degree oven for 15 to 17 minutes or until you get beautifully rotund, glistening golden globes, practically floating out of the oven. They're so light. Now, optionally, you can brush them with a little melted butter immediately upon removing from the oven, and then just let those cool to room temp on a wire rack. Now, this burger has a lot of cooked toppings, so let's begin with our onion. Get yourself 1 white onion, diced, heat a large pan over medium-high, hit that with just enough vegetable oil to coat the bottom of the pan, and once that's hot enough to slap your god-dang knee, add in your onion, toss to coat with the oil, season to taste with salt, and cook, tossing occasionally for 4 to 5 minutes or until your onions are softened and have developed a nice lightly browned color. Boom, essentially griddled onion. Pop it to the side, clean out the pan, and then in that same pan, add just enough vegetable oil to coat the bottom yet again, heat over medium-high, and once it is yet again hot enough to sear just about any god-dang thing, add in half a pound or 227 grams of fresh shiitake mushrooms that have been stemmed and sliced half an inch thick, and let those cook and sear against the pan, and do not stir or season them yet, otherwise they're going to release too much water and they'll go limp. I would say most scenarios when things go limp, not a good thing, right? Now you really want to treat these a bit like a steak, right? That's the key to having mushrooms that are so good your friends and family will bow before your mushroom cooking might. Now once those have a nice golden brown crust, you can then season them with salt, give them a nice toss, and let them continue to sear, stirring occasionally until cooked to your liking. Now you'll notice I only hard seared one side, and the reason is we want that nice Maillard-like flavor but without drying them out. If you wanted them seared on both sides, you need to slice them thicker, which is not ideal for a sandwich. Anyway, those are your mushrooms. Place in a bowl set to the side, and the bacon is pretty straightforward. You don't need me to explain that, right? Choose your own adventure here. You're making a lot of bacon, put it in the oven. If not, then you can slap them in a pan and cook them old school style, you know, flip them over and over until they're done. Drain on a papy towel. See? Now we need to talk about our beef. Five Guys prides itself on the freshness of its ingredients. So although we need 2 pounds or 900 grams of ground beef, obviously I would recommend grinding it yourself. Do you have to? Of course not. But if you choose to do so, I recommend a really nicely marbled, boneless chuck roast cut into long strips and fed through a meat grinder until ground. Pretty straightforward. Now that we have our beef, we can cook and assemble. Buns, of course, should be sliced and toasted if you want to have that proper burger experience. Come on now. It's like a universal rule. I don't ever want to see an untoasted bun again. Papa love you. Now get yourself roughly a 4 to 5 ounce ball of ground beef. Heat a medium-sized skillet over medium-high. Coat the bottom with just barely enough oil to create a nice slick. Once the pan begins to smoke, add in that 1 ball of beef, grease a large spatula or a press, and you guessed it. Press your beef down until it's about 1 inch wider than your buns and around a ½ inch thick. Season that patty to taste generously with salt and pepper. Let that sear hard for 1 to 2 minutes. Get your spatula under there, flip, and season the other side with salt and pepper again. And of course, the quintessential slice of American cheese. I know, blasphemy. Let it sear for another minute, then take it immediately off the pan. Add your second patty, boom, same thing. Press it down, season taste with salt and pep. Sear, flip, again, salt, pep, another slice of cheese, which you can totally switch up here, right? You can do American cheese again, or you could go cheddar, Munster. I like to mix it up. It's kind of boring if you don't, right? Now, pick up your older patty you made from earlier, place the newest one on top of that. Doing this is gonna help melt that cheese. Place that back in the pan, reduce the heat to medium, and let it sit until both cheeses are melted. And now for the moment of truth. Listen, we're making this burger in a way that is called all the way. If you don't like your burger all the way, get the out of here. Kidding. Just, you know, don't add something you don't like to the burger. There you go, right? Anyway, bottom and top bun, add a nice generous smear of mayo, fold that with a drizzle of yellow mustard, both buns, and a drizzle of ketchup, both buns yet again. Now, begin your stacking on the bottom bun. First, a nice shingling of dill pickles that have been sliced lengthwise for maximum sandwich surface area coverage. 2 to 3 slices of cooked bacon, your double patty, oh boy, this is looking a bit larger than anticipated. 1 beefy slice of ideally heirloom tomato, which yes, has been salted, ya wanka. Some of your seared mushrooms, your griddled onion, rough chopped iceberg lettuce, which honestly doesn't need to be on this burger. It does nothing. We're doing it for posterity. And finally, grab your top bun, and you better bet your ass it's a royal moment because we're gonna crown our king. For what looks to be a touch larger of a burger than necessary, but let's hope its flavor can match its size so that we can find our winner.
Burger time, burger time. Theirs was a little squished, I'll give them that. So I'm not gonna mark them off points for being ugly. But I squeezed this together, so it might be a little bit ugly now too. But I had to conform it somehow, right? Now that this is one unit, an absolute one at that. Ugh, Jesus! Look at that. The verdict is in. I'm a big fan of the flat top, but if you don't get a good sear, these patties have no color at all. The crispness of the meat. It's seasoned perfectly, nice and fatty, not too dry. Their meat's drier than it usually is, and we ground this fresh. You can taste the applewood smoked bacon. Everything is coming through, but more importantly, because I salted the goddamn tomato. Guess what? This is balanced. Bun-wise, I think this matches up nicely because I remember reading, oh, this has a little more egg and a little bit more of the sugar and this and that. I tried to make a little bit more of a gooey egg bun, and I think we achieved that. So there's some similarities, but the freshness of this still shines through. Seasoned perfectly, cooked perfectly. I mean, this is an easy dub, honestly, and I didn't think it was going to, but we need a taste tester to finalize. Are you a Five Guys guy?
I love Five Guys, actually. Used to get it a lot more.
Look at these Five Guys in Kendrick's mouth. So this is the flat end here.
I can't see what you're pointing at.
Wow. So that was number one.
Number deuce.
Nice.
First one was better, personally, and it comes down to flavor. There's so much in here. There are a lot of really good textures. It's so flavorless, though. There's not an ounce of any kind of seasoning to be found in this Five Guys burger. Your burger, a lot of similar textures, but I agree your meat is a lot more crisp. Got a good sear on it.
I'll encapsulate this all. Thank you, Kendrick.
I'm gone. I'm not here.
Wow! What it comes down to, Five Guys. I'm actually still a big fan. Today, not their best day, I'll give them that. All they had to do was season it properly, and also their meat was low-key kind of dry and had no color on it. But that's the difference between something good and bad, is technique. You don't have to make your own buns and still make a better burger in like 15 minutes if you're not making the buns and all the other bullshit. But you wanna know what else doesn't have to make its own buns? B-roll.